So at the beginning of April, Netflix have added a whole heap of new content for you to enjoy, from old movies to new movies to middle-aged movies and a lot of original content. And one of those original Netflix films have caught my eye, mostly because it had Idris Elba playing in this movie, and I adore Idris Elba, and because I thought that this movie was a Western. It's actually not. So let's get down to business. By the by, I'm the movie guy, and this is my review for Concrete Cowboy.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I drink your milkshake.
Why so serious?
I am your father.
You talking to me?
Say what again?
Are you not entertained?
So the movie starts like one of my favorite films, Boys in the Hood, with the protagonist Cole getting into a fight at school and getting expelled. His mother has had enough of it, so she decides to drive him up to Philadelphia and let him live with his father for the whole summer. We all know though that means that he's gonna live there forever, right? When they get there, there's an emotional scene between them, and his mother starts screaming at him, telling him that she thought that he knew better, and he just begs her not to go. Now she leaves him to wait for his father at the door, and he finds out that he is over at the stables working. And this is a funny scene because when the neighbor mentions stables, the look on Cole's face is almost like he doesn't even know what stables is, and I thought that was pretty funny. He meets his father and they go up to the apartment, where he finds out that he's going to live with a horse. I'm not even going to do a joke about that. He's gonna live with a horse. But he doesn't want to stay with his father, so he's trying to contact his mother to take him back home to Detroit. And when he's trying to do that, he meets his old friend Smush that he hasn't seen in 10 years. And Smush is doing really well for himself. He has a nice car, he looks like he has money, and he's basically a drug dealer. They're not gonna say it, and they don't say it in the movie, but he is a drug dealer. His father doesn't agree with the friendship of Cole and Smush, and he makes Cole choose between living with his father or living nowhere but being friends with Smush. And Cole, like any protagonist, decides to do both. He lives with his father and helps around the stables, but he also hangs around with Smush and probably deals drugs too. He actually starts liking riding horses, and he creates a bond with one of the meanest horses there is in that stable, called Boo. And that's just so stereotypical of movies, isn't it? The guy who is not trained to bond with an animal bonds with the most aggressive animal that there is, and movies should stop doing that. This movie tackles themes like horse therapy, which is basically changing a person's behavior by having him take care of a horse, which is a thing that is scientifically proven to be true, and things like people holding on to the past and the future just trampling all over that, pun intended. So basically these people want to keep a hold of the stables and raise the horses, but the city doesn't need horses anymore, and the land that they're renting for the stables will just basically be bought by big companies who are trying to make real estate, and they're gonna lose all the horses. But my favorite theme that wasn't explored enough is the relationship between Cole and Harp, his father. Basically there is a very tough love coming from Harp, and Cole does not like that. They don't talk at all, and it all boils down into my favorite scene of the entire film. So Cole, annoyed at his father for not treating him like his son, asks him, "Why do you hate me?" And over the tune of John Colton's song, Harp tells him the story of Colton, who is a man that has grown up without his father and has managed to change the world with his music in the eyes of Harp. And then he talks about events that happened prior to the birth of Cole. He talks about how he was a drug dealer as well before Cole was born, and when he found out that he was going to have a son, he basically gave it all up, but he was going to have to do jail in order to do that, and his only wish was to name his son. And the name that he gave Cole was Colton, after the singer. He wanted him to have a great life without his father. I think that was very emotional, and he showed the capabilities of Idris Elba as an actor. The characters are a mixed bag. The protagonist, Cole, I feel is pretty bland. He just basically goes whatever people tell him to do. He just does whatever people tell him to do, and he doesn't really have a personality. The same goes for Harp. You know, I thought that Harp, played by Idris Elba, would be the baddest cowboy out there, and he doesn't really do anything, and that's awful because that's a ruined opportunity. One character that is really well made though is Paris. He is also a cowboy, but unfortunately he's a paraplegic cowboy, so he doesn't get to ride, but he shares a lot of wisdom, and he is my favorite character because he has a moment when he gets to ride a horse, and that was just so emotional. The movie is directed by Ricky Staub, I hope that's how you pronounce it, and this is his first feature-length film, and I was impressed with his directing, but I do have one bit of a negative. The movie is just too dark. And I don't mean that it's dark in nature, it's dark in colors. Most of the scenes happen at night and you can't really see anything. Everything is just so dark, and well, you have to see in order to enjoy a movie. The movie is written by him and Dan Walser, and I think they do a good job aside from the problems that we've already discussed, and I love the dialogue. It's just so organic between the characters. Idris Elba is probably the most notable name present in the cast, and I just wish that he had a lot more to do. He doesn't get to appear, speak, or do quite a whole lot, and that's disappointing because I basically watched this film for him. Also, Method Man plays in this film, he plays a cop, and he's, you know, his usual charismatic self, but major props go to two real-life raiders from the real-life stable that this movie is based on for playing in this film. They do such a good job. I thought they were professional actors. Of course, they are playing themselves, but on the big screen. Still though, major props to them. My biggest problem with this movie is how it is basically a tale of two films. For the first 50 minutes, it's pretty bland. But for the final 50 minutes, it's so engaging and I liked it, and I just hope that the entire film would be just that. But unfortunately it's not. In conclusion, I think this film is okay if you're willing to get past the first half, so my rating for it is you should give it a watch with a grade of 3 stars. For my alternative pick, I choose The Mustang, a movie about a prison program where the most aggressive prisoners get to take care of horses in order to rehabilitate themselves. It features one of my favorite actors, which is Matthias Schoenaerts, and I've actually reviewed this movie. You can check it up top here or here, I don't know exactly what it is. And if you've watched Concrete Cowboys and you liked it but wanted something more, you can go and watch The Mustang. If you don't want to watch Concrete Cowboy because of the problems that I've just exposed, then you should just go and watch The Mustang, because that is a much better film. Thank you very much for your patience, guys. Please press that like and subscribe button, and we'll see each other every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Until then, stay safe.